Hi, this is Joe DeMeo with FantasyPlayersEdge.com, here to identify a few players who may be available in later rounds that can help you to win a championship. These are the Van Winkles, the sleepers, and they could make a difference. A few of these players have already been mentioned in an earlier piece on having patience in your draft, but these players are well worth discussing once again. Let's first take a look at a couple of infielders who may be available in mid to late rounds in your upcoming draft. The first would be Orioles first baseman Aubrey Huff. Huff is eligible for first base and third base, and he's coming off a 32 homer, 108 RBI, 302 batting average 2008 campaign. Many pundits are overlooking Huff, thinking that he probably overreached last season. But I'd like to remind you that in 2004, with the Tampa Bay Rays, Huff hit 34 home runs, knocked in 107 RBIs, and batted .311. Huff will probably have another solid season. Jorge Cantu is another one who jumps off the page. He's also first base and third base eligible and is likely to hit 30 home runs with 100 RBIs, 90 runs scored, and bat a respectable .280. It's likely that Cantu will be available in rounds 8, 9, or 10 and would represent a steal, especially if you're looking for a third baseman at that point. Okay, let's head into the outfield. Denard Span, in 347 at-bats, had 18 stolen bases while patrolling center field for the Minnesota Twins. Spahn this year is a virtual lock to score 100 runs, steal 25-plus bases, bat around 300 with an added bonus of 12 to 15 home runs. Spahn will be an awesome selection anywhere from round 12 on. Philadelphia Phillies right fielder Jason Worth, in 418 at-bats last season, cracked 24 home runs and stole 20 bases. With Pat Burrell moving on to the Rays, Worth is likely to get 580 to 600 at-bats, which makes him an outside chance for a 30-30 season, but a virtual lock for a 28 homer, 25 stolen base, .280 batting average. Worth is another one of those outfielders that'll be sitting there in round 10 or 11 and is well worth the selection. Behind the plate, Pablo Sandoval of the San Francisco Giants is an interesting reach. Sandoval will most likely start for the Giants at first base this season, but is catcher eligible. He has a great batting eye. He hit .345 over 145 at-bats. He does lack power. He only had 3 home runs over those 145 at-bats, but if you're struggling for a catcher in round 15 or 16 or 17, Sandoval is a nice pickup, and he will augment your overall batting average. Taylor Teagarden of the Texas Rangers is also another interesting possibility at catcher. Teagarden has to beat out Jared Saltalamacchia for the position, but should he do so, Teagarden would be a great source of power and might be an interesting pickup in the later rounds of your draft. Let's head up onto the hill. Minnesota Twins starting pitcher Scott Baker had 11 wins, a .345 ERA, a 1.18 whip in 28 starts, covering 172 innings. His K ratio was an outstanding 7.4 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. Baker will be available in most drafts in rounds 12 through 14, and he'll serve very nicely as an SP3 on any roster. Zach Greinke pitches in obscurity for the Kansas City Royals. In 2008, Greinke had 13 wins, a .347 ERA, a 1.28 whip, which is a little high, with a K ratio that's outstanding of 8.1 strikeouts for every 9 innings pitched. Greinke had 32 starts and he threw 202 innings, and he's likely to be available even after Baker in round 14 or 15. He's an excellent pickup and would make an outstanding SP4. So let's close out our sleepers with our closers. Diamondbacks' Chad Qualls finished last season with 7 saves in his last 8 outings, covering 7.1 innings, allowing 0 runs and only 3 base runners with 7 Ks. Qualls' overall body of work for 2008 was 74 innings, a 2.81 ERA, a 1.07 whip, and he struck out a batter per inning. Qualls will be available much later than all of the top closers, including the Valverdes and the Fuentes of the world, but will have numbers comparable or better than either of those two closers. Also, do not hesitate to grab Trevor Hoffman if he's available later in your draft. Hoffman landed on his feet with the Milwaukee Brewers, and the all-time saves leader still has plenty left in the tank. Okay, there you have it. These are sleepers that should be available in mid to late rounds of virtually every draft that can make a significant contribution to your roster and ultimately to you winning a championship this year. Please visit the Fantasy Players Edge at www.fantasyplayersedge.com daily to get all the advice and information that you need to get the edge and to win your league. Take very good care. We'll talk to you soon.